Salute squatters, we're back with another one, but this one is a part two actually of the Orania issue, because I can see that Orania has drawn so much attention, and a lot of people are debating about this issue, that whether should Orania exist or not. And yesterday I shot an episode which I spoke openly, expressing my view actually, how I feel about Orania, how I feel about EFF actually wanting to march on the 22nd of April. Orania is a white-only town which is located in the Northern Cape, the Kimberley side. So it doesn't really accommodate black people. It's a fact which we should accept. But if you ask me now, straightforward question, should Orania exist? Yes, they should exist because I believe, personally, that it is their constitutional right. Sometimes these issues, we might take them too personal, but it's not going to yield any positive results for us to continue to fight a certain ethnic group which is located very far away from us. And if you check Northern Cape, black people also have got land there, number one. Number two, we have a government. Orania is not governing our country. We have got our own government, which is the black administration administered by the ANC government. So I don't actually see any deterrence of Orania existence. Yes, they've got their own currency, by the way, Ora. Remember, their currency doesn't work anywhere, but it works only in Orania. So to me, it's a fake money. Money is just fake anyway. Even the money that we use, it's just fake. Money is fake. It's something that we use to exchange goods and all of that. Back in the days, there was no money. People were exchanging. I give you a watermelon, you give me a butternut, and there was no money. So money was introduced by the colonists, by the way. So I've read an article this morning about Julius Malema and the EFF actually pursuing this issue of Orania, and I'll give you my fair share of actually what I meant yesterday about my view. I want to quickly read this short statement that I read an article from a certain newspaper. So EFF too much for Orania to be dismantled. It means, like I was saying yesterday, that the EFF saying it has to be dismantled. I don't know in which way, but let's continue. On Friday, 11th April, EFF leader Julius Malema met with the Orania movement and Freedom Front Plus in his quest to urge the government's stance on the self-determination of Orania. The meeting ended in stalemate, with the controversial politician pledging to mobilize EFF members to march to Northern Cape Premier's office, Zamani Sao, in Kimberley on the 22nd of April. EFF's provincial chairperson Shadrach Chaole said of their views on Orania, EFF is raising a profound fundamental. Listen to this. EFF is raising a profound fundamental issue that needs both black and white people to speak to it, because they agreed that there should be a generation that will engage and speak about their existence to make sure that we don't speak past each other. We are continuing with our march to the Premier's office, demanding what we have said. And that will continue. That will continue. It means it has been finalized. The EFF will actually go into march. Orania, he continues. Orania should be abolished. And Orania is not what we should appreciate and accept as the EFF. Now, let me speak about Gator. Gayton Mackenzie has got the same view as mine, but we are sitting in different positions. I will tell you why. Gayton gives thumbs up to Orania, while Julius Malema has voiced his disdain for Orania. Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton Mackenzie has previously praised the African-only town. In 2023, Gayton visited the community to meet with local leaders and learned more about it. Sharing the lengthy X thread, Twitter by the way, Patriotic Alliance leader came to the following conclusion. Orania is a white-only town. Black people are not allowed to buy land or stay there. It's a fact. According to leaders, this is a means to preserve the Afrikaner culture. The town does not permit any members of the LGBTQ. I don't want to enter into LGBTQ whatsoever. By the way, it's their right. I don't want to judge these Afrikaners on this particular issue, and I'll tell you why. I continue to read. The population is about 3,000 people, and residents thrive on keeping the town clean. Orania has its own currency, aura. Remember I mentioned their currency. Even its own registered bank and flag. The flag, everything, that's just madness that they are doing for themselves anyway. Anyone can do it. Even black people can have their own Orania and do whatever the nonsense they want to do in their own territory, not outside. By the way, like I said, that aura does not actually work in any other. If you leave Orania with aura, where are you going to buy with that useless little paper? You get what I'm saying? So the town has multiple thriving businesses, which I appreciate, has multiple thriving businesses which employs residents. It is self-sufficient with its own schools, factories, hospitals, and so forth. Afrikaans is the only language spoken and taught. Only language spoken and taught. Despite having a small population, the town has futuristic financial practices. Now, this begs so many questions. Why can't, as black people, build our own things? That's my main concern. That can't we build our own Orania if you want to? Can't we have our own schools? I've got a problem with us as black people. We don't build anything. We don't have indigenous schools. We can't even maintain the structures that are existing currently as I'm speaking. So we can't build nothing, and when other people or other ethnic groups are building, we want to destroy. I understand the part of racism and where we come from as a country and all of that, but here's my straightforward view. Orania has good in itself. It has got the bad side, it has got the good side. So people are entirely focusing on the negative side of Orania, but the positive side, the economy is growing there in Orania. They've got their own schools, factories, 40% of grid. It means they've got their solar panels, and 40% of their energy is sourced from the sun, by the way. So they are actually demonstrating how the government of the ANC should function. By the way, let's leave that for argument's sake that yes, Orania is a racist place and all of that. I want to come to this, that listen, as much as we fight these people, as much as we believe that these people are racist and all of that, now the issue is that if we want Orania to be dismantled, let's get to the practical fact. What should be dismantled? Should we impose black people there to stay there and to mingle with Afrikaners? We know our history in this country, and these Afrikaners, even in our townships in Soweto, Tembisa, because remember, during the apartheid, the Afrikaners, the apartheid government implemented Group Areas Act, the laws which were unjustifiable, which were perpetuating separation of ethnic groups. So these people, they don't bother us in our townships. We live peacefully in Soweto. I've never seen Afrikaners saying they want to live in Soweto. they want to live in Tembisa, they want to live in Tsakani, they want to live in Diepsloot, they want to live in Oliven and any other, Springs, Kwatema, or all these other townships, which we know that only black people are staying there. And by the way, why can't we build our own things? We take our kids to the very same Afrikaner schools. We follow them wherever they go. It means we believe in them to an extent that we end up becoming jealousy of their existence. Orania does not need the EFF's permission to exist. Let's let those people exist in their own right and all of that. Because if we continue to push for them to, it's more like we are bullying them in a way. But, I've got few points that actually I want to speak about here. That as much as the EFF is focusing on this Orania issue, here's my challenge to the EFF. I will actually support anything that I feel it will benefit me otherwise, maybe in the near future. The EFF should at least be focusing on porous borders. That I will support. Let's not be fooled, South Africans. The EFF doesn't say anything about illegal immigration. So I'm worried that as much as they are confronting Afrikaners, telling them that they should not exist, Orania must be dismantled, what is the position of the EFF on the porous borders, on illegal immigration, on the crime that is being committed by people who don't have fingerprints, whom we don't? I made an episode the other day saying, you leave your house this morning, you find 20 people. You leave the next day, you find 30 people. So South Africa is actually bleeding from having illegal immigrants inviting themselves into our country. And by the way, this is one thing that people keep on ignoring. They keep on ignoring. They don't want to talk about this. We have got porous borders. I still want to see Julius Malema standing there at Beitbridge and talking about how he feels about our porous borders and people who are flocking into our country illegally. So, by the way, we can call Orania racist, but what is it that we have as black people that we can be proud of, that this is what we built? They built Orania. This is how far they are. Then what is it that we have as black people that we can also be proud that this is what we have built? By the way, these porous borders are a ticking time bomb here, because there's an influx of the illegal immigrants that are coming to South Africa every day, and people are saying nothing about it. I wanna dwell into this issue of our politicians, by the way, because you know why? They actually act like they are serious of fighting for our country, and whereas they are not doing anything. I want to quickly go through this. White Afrikaners are not using state funds, the Orania issue. They are not using state funds to build and preserve their culture there in the Northern Cape. They are actually setting the tone of how clean government should actually function. However, have we ever asked ourselves that as black South Africans, why do we have to have Orania isolated from our corrupt government? These Afrikaners, we never actually had a sit down with them to ask them what exactly pushed them to isolate themselves from this apartheid, this democratic, so-called democratic government that is continuing with nothing but corruption. Actually, when we have money as black people, we have got a potential to build our own Orania. But what happens when black people have money? We go to expensive nightclubs, we spend 100K per night, and we feel that we are heroes. We have had Julius Malema wearing a 30K pair of shoes. Afrikaners never complained about that. We have had Kenny, the sushi king, Kunene, splashing hundreds of thousands in clubs, eating from women lying on the table, and no Afrikaners actually complained about that. We have had Fikile Mbalulas driving in a convoy of a G-Wagon Mercedes-Benz, campaigning for votes in squatter camps, and Afrikaners never complained about that. We have had the Edwin Sodis scandal, spending millions on lavish homes, expensive wines, blessing slave queens with money, and Afrikaners actually never complained about that. We have had a president who hid money, millions of dollars and pounds under his mattress, and no Afrikaners ever complained about it. We have seen Paul Mashatile, the deputy president, enjoying his pool party at his lavish home in whatever waterfall there with his slave queens, and no Afrikaners actually complained about that. I will tell you how much black people waste money. The same EFF members goes to parliament wearing Gucci and Louis Vuitton inside those red overalls, and no Afrikaners ever complained about it. We have had Julius Malema and Kassan Matali getting billions of tenders in Limpopo when he was still in the ANC as a youth league president, and no Afrikaner ever complained about it. We have got Thabo Mbeki, who's staying in a mansion here in Johannesburg here, that maybe he spends months without even entering some of the rooms, with white bodyguards, state cars running around to Nisa in the name of African Renaissance, and no Afrikaners ever complained about it. These are our black people who are wasting money, who are a liability to us. We have had the former President Jacob Zuma, who spent 250 million on taxpayers' money building a homestead in Kandla, and no Afrikaner ever complained about that. We have had Cyril Ramaphosa, who owns more than 30 townhouses, mining businesses all over the country, even outside the country, and no Afrikaner, by the way, complained about that. All the ANC comrades have stolen from the public purse and nothing happened to them. They got away with everything, and no Afrikaner actually complained about that. We have had Ace Mahashule, who got millions through asbestos contract, and no Afrikaner, by the way, complained about that. We have had the Guptas working with Duduzane Zuma, funneling billions of rands into their pockets. Yet we are chasing people who had their last bite in 1993. They never complained about that. So what has been happening for the past 8 years as the black administration? I feel like black people just want to use poor Oranians as a scapegoat. Why can't we ourselves build anything? What exactly have we built anyway? This is the question that I do have. This is honestly embarrassing and disgusting to begin with. I'm so disappointed about black people, especially the middle class, so-called clever black people who continue to mislead people. Let's accept that as black administration, we have failed our people. It's a fact. I don't care if you are Cyril Ramaphosa, you are Tokyo Swale, you are Julius Malema, you are Kalema Motlanthe, or you are Malusi Gigaba, you are Fikile Mbalula, Kenny Kunene, Crooks, Gaten McKenzie, Jacob Zuma, Angie Motsega, all of them, Lanedi Panda, all the councillors, ministers of spaza shops, ministers of dysfunctional ESCOM, minister of Donald Trump, international relations, Ronald Lamola. I don't care. All those people are super useless. When entrepreneurs get tenders, they don't finish the project and they chow the money, yet no one says anything about that. Do you want to tell me the black administration that, as the black administration, that the money that you've stolen couldn't have built Orania? That's the question that I have, that, as the black administration, actually, the money that we have misused couldn't just build our own black Orania. South Africans, I'm very much concerned about how we approach issues, and then there are very important issues that we really need to focus on, especially the illegal immigration issue. But the EFF is saying nothing about it. We saw Mr. Kaule taking an interview on Newsroom Africa saying all of that. By the way, I'll put a clip if I got time, about actually what he said. You can Google, check it. It doesn't make sense to me. Orania must be dismantled. Why must it be dismantled? Are we here to destroy? Are we here to crash all the buildings there, or the structures, or what exactly do we dismantle? Because if you bring black people there in that, that where there's black people, there's always crime, there's always chaos. Black people like noise. They drink all the time, every weekend. I'm staying in squatter camps, by the way. I see that sometimes I listen to them to the sound of the music from some neighbor, even if I don't want to, even if I need to be quiet to, to listen to my consensus, actually, what, to plan something or to figure out something. There's a noise. There's a speaker, the big speaker that's blasting in your ears, you can't sleep, and all of that. We are very disorganized. We need to actually get our house in order first before we look at Orania. That's my view, squatters. Please, let's engage about this issue, because I feel like this issue is going to go a long way. Thank you, squatters. Shalom.